Hello, and welcome to another Doctor Who action figure review. This time I shall be taking a look at the Reconnaissance Dalek from the 2019 New Year special, Resolution. So without further ado, let's take a look at this guy. The packaging is the same single-carded packaging which has been used on Doctor Who figures now for the last couple of years or so. You have your usual motifs such as Jodie Whittaker logo, the Jodie Whittaker TARDIS, and the patterns of blue and silver, and then just inside you have your figure clearly displayed, which is the Recon Dalek, along with the Khaled mutant which featured in Resolution. Much like other figures that got released in the wave, we also have advertisements for other figures that have been released as part of the wave, some of which I have already reviewed on the channel, so if you haven't already, then check those reviews out now. Here is the Recon Dalek in all its glory, and I've got to say right off the bat that I think it's an excellent figure, and this is really good considering that I'm not really the biggest of fans of this particular Dalek design. Don't get me wrong, it works for the episode in context, but as a design overall, if you compare it to all the others, then yeah, I don't really like it. But anyhow, personal thoughts aside, I think the figure is excellent. The paint job all around this figure is just top notch. You've got little things like scratches all over the bodywork, which I think is very authentic because this Dalek, don't forget, was made in a scrap yard. So I think Character Options have really recaptured the look of how this Dalek was in that New Year special. Of course, one thing to note about this particular release as well is this is a completely brand new sculpt. It is the newest sculpt that we got in many years from Character Options, as they've been known for reusing their sculpts and making repaints, especially with Daleks. So this is a really good thing. I think it's quite cool that this Dalek did get a release because it does quite a lot of damage in the episode. So if we take a look at the figure close up, then as I said, the paintwork is absolutely phenomenal. It recaptures the copper look of this particular Dalek. It recaptures the whole idea that this was made in a workshop, and you have little things like scratches, particularly at the fender section here, which again is two sections much like other Daleks, particularly from the classic series. You've got scratches all over the hemispheres. The hemispheres are all different shapes and sizes, and you only have 3 hemispheres at the bottom section as opposed to the usual 4, which gets in the way of my OCD, but again, that is how this particular Dalek did look in the story. Looking at the midsection, you've got all your little nuts and bolts nicely painted on and nicely sculpted on. So that's really nice. We have a new array of weapons, so he now has a claw arm as opposed to the plunger, and he also has the exterminator gun, which kind of reminds me of the Paradigm Dalek's exterminator gun. I don't think it's the same sculpt exactly because the Paradigm figures, they use a much bigger whisk sculpt, but nevertheless it reminds me of that just in terms of the design. At the neck section here, you can just see there's a little bit of red paint inside, and that signifies the LED light on the actual Dalek prop, because this particular Dalek, when it spoke, this section inside lit up as well as the dome light. So I'm really happy that Character Options added that little bit extra, because really it wasn't something they needed to do. Speaking of the dome lights, these have been painted in the same colour as what is seen inside here, just to signify that this Dalek is talking. They are a new sculpt. They've been made out of transparent plastic. Now looking at the eye stalk, this is also a new sculpt. Very nice, painted silver, little ridges on the edge here, and the pupil is blue, much like most of the new series Daleks. And what I like about this eye stalk is it moves all the way up. I think this is the highest that any eye stalk has ever gone on any Dalek figure that has been released in the 5.5 figure range. So that's quite neat. I suppose that's a nice segue into the articulation of this bad boy. So as you just saw, the eye stalk can move all the way up. The head, like any other Dalek, can move all the way around, and also the middle section can move all the way around, which is a first for these Daleks. The weapons are ball jointed like the other Daleks, but these weapons are also very, very bendy in terms of the material that was used to make these figures. So be wary when you're moving the weapons around, because they could easily snap off. So you can just see here, this is very bendy, and I would be very wary of this when trying to move it around for posability and playing all things alike. And at the bottom you have your usual 3 wheels, so you have your 2 wheels at the back there, as well as this which goes all the way around, so you can move the Dalek about. And that is all of the articulation. So overall, articulation gets big ticks from me, and also the detail for this Dalek is really nice in figure form. But that's not all. This also comes with an accessory, and it is the Khaled mutant from the same story. Now this thing was more or less the star of this story, so I think it's very fitting that it did get released. There's not much to be said, it's very rubbery, it looks like a Khaled mutant, it's just a massive brain with a load of tentacles coming out of it. It does the job, you can tell what this is meant to be if you've watched the episode. But the coolest thing about this release is that the Dalek tank has a compartment in the middle, which you just saw opens. And the idea is you can place this Dalek mutant inside. It can get a little bit fiddly, so I wouldn't recommend placing it all the way in, but say if you just posed it like that, I think that looks quite cool. I think it's very reminiscent of the Dalek mutant reveal figure. For those of you who don't know what I'm on about, here is the said figure for comparison's sake, and if you haven't checked out my review that I did all those years ago, then you can check out the link at the top here. And that is the Recon Dalek. So, very nice figure, does the job, it looks a lot like how it looked on screen. This is one of the stronger figures that Character Options have released in the last few years. And all I'll say is, if you're a fan of Daleks and you're a particular fan of the 13th Doctor's era, then this is a must-buy in my eyes. Great paint job, great accessory in the Dalek mutant, and great articulation. It's everything you want from a really good Doctor Who action figure. Plus, this is the most articulated Dalek that we've ever had, so that's another good thing going for this. As always everyone, thank you so much for watching this Doctor Who action figure review. Be sure to check out some more Doctor Who action figure reviews and subscribe for even more Doctor Who content on the Obsesstuvian 95. Take care guys, and I'll see you in the next one.